Hey friends, how are you? I'm Ritika. Once again came up with another new episode of my online game Truth, Dare and Situation. If I'm gonna ask to you, then what will you choose? Truth, Dare or Situation? So if you want to participate in this game, the links are given below. So you can DM me on these given links to participate in this game. So without any delay, I'm just directly going to connect with today's participant, Mr. Cordell from USA. So, hi Cordell, how are you?
Pretty good.
Okay, so what do you think about this game, Truth, Dare, or Situation?
It's pretty fun. Like a pretty fun game to get to know somebody and get to just it'd be like some just fun to do. Just like and this is a way to do a podcast. It's pretty fun. I like it.
Thank you so much. Before we going to start, I just want to clear the basic rule of this game. So I'm going to ask you 10 questions. The last one is like a rapid fire question. So which has five sub questions of that question. And
Hmm.
second one is like a disclaimer. So this game is just made for entertainment purpose. I don't want to hurt
Yes.
anyone's emotions or feelings. So
Hmm.
what will you choose? Truth, dare, or situation, or mix up of these?
It'd be probably be truth. Truth.
Okay. So my first question to you, are you ready for that?
Yep.
Whose Instagram account would you want to manage for a day, and what would you do if you manage?
Okay. If I had someone else's Instagram account,
Yes.
I don't know what. I guess I would just basically take a lot of pictures and stuff and just add them to their account. Probably is this an enemy or someone I dislike or I like? Is
Which kind of pictures you want to post on their Instagram account?
well, if it's someone I like, I would give them something pretty cool. But someone I didn't like, I would probably at least do stuff to make their account miserable. I'd probably take a lot of butt shots, but none of that person would find attractive. Stuff like that. I would go online and find the most very most, awkward and probably uncomfortable looking photos and make people think they're into butts.
So this is the best way to take a revenge.
Yeah, it's something that can, but I will make sure the person will know it was me. So if I'm anonymous, then I would take, let's say, I would take pictures of just many pictures of dogs humping and a lot of pictures of old men in the shower and send them to them and just rap it constantly. So every time they gets a notification, it's either a dog humping or old man's junk. I think that'll ruin his day or their day.
Okay. My second question to you, have you ever done anything to try to look cooler or more popular?
And as a kid, I tried to. I wore it's clothes called cross colors. They're not popular, but when I grew up in the '90s, it was basically red and yellow, very bright colors. I'm glad that I don't have any pictures to document them, but I'm pretty sure there's something out there that looks really ugly. Oh, there was a time when I had some baggy pants that they're not very comfortable, but I thought they looked cool because Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy wore them. The only reason I took them off because my brother kept telling me I wonder why I was wearing emo pants, and that really bothered me. I threw them in the garbage. Those times I pretend to be cool, but those are not. They don't age well.
Okay. So, have you ever waved at someone because you thought they were waving at you, but it turns out they were just waving at someone behind you?
I've actually. waved and actually said hello. And halfway through saying hello, I realized I didn't know this person, but I had to pretend like I had to just make conversation because I already said it. I thought I knew. I thought it was my cousin across the street, and then halfway through, I realized, oh, he would not be walking across the street. He wouldn't be downtown. But I already said it was too late, so I had to commit to it.
Yeah, this was a very awkward moment.
It was very
I,
embarrassing.
yes, I also have this kind of moments in my life.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. When you say, "Hey, what's up?" and you were like, "Oh, you're not talking to me." It's too late. I already said it. I already committed to it. So now I got to commit to it.
So fourth one is, at what age did you realize you were dumber than the rest of your friends?
I don't know when I realized that a lot of people are smarter. Probably in school when they had better grades, if that counts. Or something midway through, I realized that oh, you have actually you're more educated than me. So I guess that may count. I don't know when it was, but I'm sure it's quite a few times that friends were actually smarter than me.
So you are bad in studies, or your friends are more intelligent than you?
I'm sure they're a little bit smarter. Not by much, but I'm sure some are smarter.
So fifth one is, have you ever bought another one of something you own already because you were too lazy to find it?
I actually bought the same DVD twice and didn't wasn't even aware of it. So now I own the same. So I have two season fives of Oz, if that counts. Because I was impatient and I wanted the other season, and I accidentally ordered two seasons of the same season. So I ordered two DVDs and I don't watch neither one of them because I can watch it on Prime now. Serves no purpose. So I have two copies of something that I know I ever watch. Because I'm watching it on DVD.
So you are a lazy kind of person.
In some cases, I am very lazy.
Like
When it
which
comes
case?
to looking for stuff, I'm very lazy. And I've actually lost a remote like at least 5 times, and it's literally in my pocket sometimes. I almost took it to work. That's pretty bad.
So sixth one is quite interesting question. So are you ready for that?
Yep.
So Cordell, suppose that you have $20 to spend on the person you hate the most. What would you buy for that person?
If I hate them the most, I'd probably buy them uh, very small condoms. If it was a guy, I would buy them $20 worth of tiny condoms, and I'd probably buy them Vaseline, and I would send it to their job as a telegram. If it was a woman, I would probably send them tons and tons of play play playgirl magazines and make sure that at least the bottom half is open so everyone can read what they're buying. I would actually would send them several copies of the same movie Magic Mike if I didn't like them, so they all know they're a pervert. $20 worth. I think I get two DVDs and $20 worth.
So seventh one is, which question are you glad someone else had to answer instead of you?
I don't even know what I don't know what question I would be glad because I can't think of anything honestly that I would be really that embarrassed. I'm sure there's one out there. I just can't think of one.
Okay, so what movie would you watch for the rest of life if you could only watch one movie?
Pulp Fiction.
So what kind of movie is this? Actually, I never seen this
Pulp
movie.
Fiction. Pulp Fiction, the movie directed by Quentin Tarantino, starring like Samuel L. Jackson, John Travolta, Bruce Willis. It's a series of stories told throughout the movie based on the perspective of the character at the time. Like there's one where it's Jules and Marcellus, or I forget, it's Vincent Vega, where they're going to obtain a briefcase, which you never know what's inside. But while they're in there, they're basically not interrogating the people, but basically they're eliminating them. And why Samuel Jackson, Jules Winfield, is standing next to the wall. A guy comes out with a big, 44 Magnum, and shoots at them, and he completely misses both of them. And at that moment, in that story, his story, he thinks God has basically saved his life. So he's basically quitting the business of being a hitman and is going to walk the earth like Cain. That's basically what the story is. It's a series of stories. It's a very good movie. If I had to pick, I'm sure it's other movies, but that movie is so cool. I never get tired of watching it.
It sounds interesting. I also would love to watch this movie. So maybe in
You
my
should watch it.
weekend.
It's very Quentin Tarantino directed so many movies. He has never made a bad movie. He has movies like Pulp Fiction, Death Proof. He has movies like Kill Bill Volume One and Two, Inglorious Bastards. He has Django. None of his movies are bad. They're all amazing movies. But my favorite will always be Pulp Fiction.
Okay. So ninth one is you and four of your friends are the fingers on a hand. Who is which finger?
Well, I guess I'll be the thumb. My best friend would probably be, I would say, the ring finger. I guess is important. I guess my childhood friend would be the pinky. I guess my buddy, well, I suppose my work buddy would be the middle finger, and I guess one of my buddies from when I do jujitsu will be like the. I guess I don't know what the finger next to the thumb is. I guess that would be.
So very nice explanation of
Hmm.
this. I didn't expect that you explain it in very well manner. So it is a
Oh, thanks.
yeah, it is a matter of appreciation. You did a very good explanation of this question.
Cool.
Yeah. So tenth one round is like a rapid fire. So my very first question for this: if you got locked in at a grocery store overnight, what would you do there?
I'd probably be looking for an oven, and I would probably eat pizza and potato chips and drink sodas and find a TV until daylight. I would probably go to the section that has, if it's a Kroger's, they would probably have five for $4. So they have those big family sized potato chips. If it's Walmart, I would probably go to the nachos. It's fake nachos. I don't never go to Food Lion, but Walmart and Kroger's. But Walmart has the best. Plus, they have the cheap queso dip. But I'm hoping that there's an oven. I go back there. I can put cheese on it too. That'd be awesome.
But potato chips are having more carbohydrates and
Yeah, it's not a
calories.
good thing to eat. It's a big bag of garbage. It's basically what
Yeah,
it is, a bag of garbage. But it's so delicious.
definitely. Everything which is harms to our body is so delicious in taste.
Yeah, healthy food's nasty. Is the reason
Yeah,
why, because keep people from eating. But the unhealthy food is usually the best tasting. But that's why people get very sick and have heart failure and stuff. So I only do it every once in a while. That's not a constant thing I do. But every once in a while, I get to dine on some garbage. I will.
so second one is if a movie was made of your life, What genre would it be?
It would be a dramatic comedy. And like I would like to say it would be a serious movie, but there's many stories if it was really told honestly. Some stories seem bad at the time, but I guarantee you it would come off as very, very funny. So
So
I think a
can
dramatic I think what's that?
so can you tell us one or more funny stories of your life, like which
Oh, what's it?
script your your movie will
Oh,
be
I could
based on?
yeah, I could tell you many childhood stupidity. I once tried to bring a GI Joe to life. I thought that it'd be a good idea to tie string around a toy and then tie it to coat hangers and then stick it in the light socket. Because in my mind, I thought if I turn the light on, the electricity would go in and bring the GI Joe to life and not shock the crap out of me. And it shut all the power off on the house because it blew a circuit. There was another time where I tried to make a pizza with biscuits and ketchup, and I don't know what kind of cheese it was, but I turned the oven on. Well, it filled the whole entire apartment full of gas, and if my grandma came and lit a cigarette, the whole house would have blown up. So that was smart. There was many. So that's like the stories are not really they're not really dramatic. They're more like, ooh, you were a dumb kid. There was a lot of stories of stupidity, and I think it would be a dramatic comedy. It's some sad stories, but it's also looking back, you know, when my brother had collected some adult paraphernalia magazines uh, that I had in my closet, and we all stayed at my grandma's house, is where we lived. And I was staying next to my grandma, and my brother walks out with a stack of Playboys, and my grandma saw it and said, "That's on you. You're going to take the hit for him for this one, even though we're mine." You know, told him to bring him out. You should have waited. She went to bed. Why are you walking to the hallway now? I said, "You're going to take the hit." And she saw that whole stack. I guess she didn't get in trouble though. So there's stories like that. They're more comical than anything. That's why
So
I
if
say dramatic comedy.
if what title you will be decide for that kind of movie?
I'd say growing up. I think the movie should be just called Growing Up. I think Growing Up is a good title for a dramatic comedy. Coming of age. Anything that deals with a coming of age movie. And I've seen movies that do mirror my life that actually make me cringe. Especially the wood. There's scenes in the movie The Wood that I get anxiety because like, I was a gigantic dork. I did not know that. Like literally, there's scenes in the movie that literally mirrored, and I was like, that made my hands sweat. Yeah, so
It seems like you are prepared already for my every questions.
hmm.
I rarely seen this kind of sense of humor of every many persons. So you
Oh, thank you.
very very good sense of humor. So you
Thank
tackle
you.
very nicely my every questions. Like it seems like you are already prepared your mind. Whatever she's gonna ask, I will tell her.
Cool, cool.
So third question of rapid fire: how many keys do you have in your keychain?
Let's see. Hold on. I have keys like an old man. Where are they at? I don't know where they are. Say I have about 10 keys, and only two of the keys are actually useful. I don't know where it is. I have basically almost the same amount of keys in my key. Or let's see, where is it at? I think it's right here. Let's see, because I'm gonna count. Okay, I have about let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six, uh, seven, seven keys, and I only use one, and one goes to padlock, and two of them goes to nothing. I had more than that on there. See right here, it goes to nothing. I have the keychain of an old man. Like an old man will carry like 30 keys on his key because I like the sound it jingles. They serve no purpose. But I don't like the fact of having one key in my pocket. I like to have a tons of useless keys just to have the feeling of something in my pocket. It might be a disorder. There might be a sign of like an OCD thing or something. I don't know.
So fourth one is, what is one of the most fun childhood memory you have?
Fun childhood memory, I would have to say, is collecting insects as a kid and bringing them home. I used to collect ants and all kinds of interesting insects. One day, I had caught some crickets and I put them in a brown envelope. I don't know why I kept them in there, but I put them on my grandma's dresser drawer and I forgot all about them. And then, like around 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I started hearing chirping and stuff. I'm like, what? And I was like, "Do you hear something chirping in here?" And it's like, yeah, these are my crickets. I had to tell my mom I had brought crickets in the house because I didn't have to put them in a hand of a jar, so I put them in an envelope and I put them on her dresser, and they just started chirping all afternoon. That was fun. Oh, there was another interesting fun. It was not fun, but it's a memorable one where my brother had a chemistry set, and I thought it was a great idea to microwave it in the microwave. And common sense, you can just dump it in the sink, but I panicked and I ran to the house and it turned the walls purple. And then when my grandma came home, knew exactly what I'd done because I tried to cover it up with the sofa. I put the sofa to cover up the purple stain, and she just pulled the sofa behind us. What did you do? I'm like, well, I tried to microwave my brother's chemistry set. That was fun. Not only was it fun for her, but it was fun for me. So I guess that counts.
So it is quite interesting story, and also catching crickets in
Yeah.
envelope is also unique thing. So last question. Tell us something about yourself, about your city, and about your podcast.
Well, myself, I work at a middle school. I am a custodian. My city is just the basic city of Hill. It's a small city in Lynchburg, Virginia. It's a tiny city. It's not really known for anything except for maybe Jerry Falwell is the main thing that's and famous for that. Um, my podcast is called a Nerds Podcast. It's a podcast for all things nerds, like wrestling, movies, video games, comic books, etc., all that kind of stuff. I like to interview as many people as I can on there. I get like professional wrestlers, like indie wrestlers, try to get people who are writers, actors, musicians, just to try to get them to ask about their outside of the 9 to 5 job. Anyone who's tried to make a lane for themselves and basically thrive through that. I always thought that'd be kind of cool. I've only been doing it for like a year or so, though.
So everybody who would like to listen Cordell podcast, links are given in description, so you can check out basically
Cool.
for wrestling. So you like
Awesome.
wrestling?
I do very much. I watched it since I was a kid. I watched people like Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Ronnie Piper, and as the years going on, like Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes, and that's the years through the Attitude Era to all the eras through like WCW, through WWF, WWE, through like sometimes Impact, sometimes AEW is the main show I like to watch now. New Japan is pretty good. I mean, there's many promotions out there, local promotions. They're also equally as important. That's why the a Nurse podcast. I know I will never get to interview the big people, but that's okay. Anyone who's starting out in professional wrestling, I like to ask their philosophy and what drives them to do that, because it's not an easy thing to do. You don't get famous overnight. And a lot of people who've done it over the years are probably will never be well known, but they still count. I mean, you can check out my podcast on Speaker Studios. It's the main one, but they're on many streaming platforms as well. Also, I have a website called a Nerds Podcast, all cap letters. Check it out. It's on there too. It's worth checking out.
We we will and try to listen the wrestling,
Cool.
how the wrestlers are feeling, and what is going new in wrestling field. We all will listen.
Awesome.
This is yes. So thank you, Cordell, for connecting with me. It is a nice
Thank you.
episode with you, and
I enjoyed it.
I'm glad to joining with you.
Me too. I thought it was really fun. It was really cool.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.